Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my Ascension Messages. My name is Bobby Richardson, and I will be your guide for today. Today, I'm going to do some tarot, but I'm going to do channeling as well. I've also got some messages received about the topic that we are going to talk about, which is how is this eclipse going to affect us? Like they said to me that do these big questions, and I know that there's other people probably out there doing the eclipse tarot reading and stuff, but they said there's some really profound messages going to come through about this. And that's because of where we actually are during this eclipse, talking about not location, but actually how we're feeling within ourselves, how much shadow work we've done, and where humanity's consciousness is in the whole aspect of our togetherness. And so when we raise our consciousness, we are able to accept more. And so that's why there's more going to be coming through. The first thing that they brought me to was seeing the earth, going over the sun, the earth's shadow going over the sun, and saying that, there's those that are going to be doing major shadow work through this eclipse, like really starting to understand how their mind's been trapping them, and not listening to their heart and not listening to their passion, not moving through the moment through understanding that their heart actually has a say in their life. Instead, constantly on the program of the mind coming up of what's happened in the past. Oh my God, it's going to happen again, and all of that sort of stuff. And then start this eclipse. They were showing me it's going to show that shadow self within quite a few humans that are meant to awaken during these times. So that was one aspect of what's going to happen. Hi, Michael. Good to see you in the chat bar. And then they took me to the actual ring of that goes around as the as the Earth's shadow comes across the sun, blocks out the sun, and then this ring, a ring of fire. Interesting. Oh, okay. So they're not showing me, like I was expecting it to go, okay, ring of fire, there's a ring of fire around Pacific, and volcano activity, but they're actually showing me it depends on the receiver. So I'm going to leave that. There's messages coming about this. Sorry, it sounds a bit confusing, but it's all going to make sense in a minute. Then they showed me the spark of, how when the shadow comes across and there's just that ring, and then all of a sudden there's one spark of light that comes out. That had a lot of information in it for me. So I'm going to share that with you guys. They brought me to sonoluminescence, long word, right? I'll show you on the sonoluminescence. It's the emission of light from imploding bubbles in liquid when excited by sound. So here's vibration, and even in water, right? Vibration can be sent through into the water, and it will form a bubble and it will explode, and this explosion will be a light. So little bubbles of light starts to explode through specific vibrations being focused into the water. And they showed me then the egg light. So when an egg is forming, just when a sperm goes into an egg, this ring of light happens and the spark happens exactly the same as from the eclipse. So they're showing me all these different sparks of light. Vibration forms a spark of light. Now they then brought me to there's a producer, there's the producer be the sun, the eclipse itself, the actual phenomenon in the sonoluminescence in the water, the light, the egg itself, that's the one that's actually produced the actual light. But that's the receiver that they want to get to. So bear with me with all of this. It's pretty profound. They said that the receiver will only learn from what's been produced till it's up to its capacity to understand the wisdom. I'm reading that because I wrote it down this morning. So I'll say that again. The receiver will only learn from what's been produced up till its capacity to understand that wisdom. So it's not the energy or the wisdom being sent from the outside world, as within the spark, they said within that spark contains everything. And that spark of light contains all wisdom, all information. But it's rather depending on the person receiving, or the animal or whatever it is receiving that spark, and how much they have shifted within their own limitations about their own life. Therefore, this eclipse will be, I'm going to read this because this is pretty cool, what I wrote down this morning. Therefore, this eclipse will be waking up many more into understanding that their existence and their experiences are in truth taken in the direction of what the creator, or you, wants to explore. You are the creator. You are the receiver, asking you to become curious about the stories you feel happiest about, because it's within our decisions or our experiences that make them come true in every moment for us. Therefore, it is us the creators, carving the next path as your choices of what's to be true in your reality. So you can fixate on anything and it can become the truth. You can fixate on the fact that AI is going to take over or something like that. Well, then that's going to be the truth. So this spark of the eclipse is actually, they were showing me, that's how it's going to wake up. Those that have done much of the shadow work and not working, just like moving through their life, repeating the same problems over and over again because they're coming from their mind that's trying to create something and not even listening to their heart and what they actually feel, what they want, what they really know they deserve. Then those that have done that work, they are the ones that are going to start to understand, oh my gosh, it's literally whatever I focus on. And so why not choose the path that's going to create the happiest scenario? Because you are the receiver, and the light or the spark has got all wisdom in it. The light, the spark from the eclipse has everything in it, and because it's outside of ourselves in a grandiose kind of a way, it becomes a chance for more of humanity's consciousness to awaken to this. So yes, first of all, there are those that are still going to be doing that shadow work because they're still in that phase of that first phase where the eclipse happens, where the Earth's shadow goes over the sun, and then eventually it becomes the ring of fire, which is that I really, really want to move through my life and understand a lot more. I'm asking these bigger questions. I'm going to do something more about this. And then the spark will come. There's always one spark at the side. You look at an egg when it's developing into a person, a human being. There's one spark that happens at the side of it, and that is the spark of wisdom, they're calling it, the spark of all-encompassing, all possibilities. So then it is only up to the receiver of that spark of wisdom as to how they are going to move through their life and what they choose, what are they focusing on, that actually carves that next path. So we can use this eclipse to really come back to central point of ourselves, especially if we feel we're in our minds too much and our story isn't going the way it wants to go, we can use this eclipse to just go, that's it, I'm going to shift my story into what I really deserve, what I really want, what I really desire in my life. And be willing to allow everything to break away that isn't in resonance with that, because we all deserve to have the happiest outcome, whatever that happiest outcome is for us personally. And that is, then we are starting to move through our life realizing we're the creator of our reality, and we have total responsibility for everything that we move through. But it's very easy because we keep on following our heart, which is giving us the information of what our soul's bringing through. And our soul, it knows from the observer point of view what's the easiest path, what's the happiest, the path that's going to make you the happiest. Hey Michelle, hey Diane, good to see you in the chat bar. So wow, like I haven't even pulled any tarots, right? Yeah, another thing that they said a few days ago was discussion. They wanted me to discuss something about the 3D and the illusion of the program covering us that's going to be dismantled. And this is how it's going to be dismantled, because so many more of us are going to awaken to the fact that we're not fearing our path anymore. Why aren't we fearing our path? Because we are taking responsibility for the fact that we're following our happiest moment in every moment. We're allowing those thoughts that the mind has been holding on to protect us, which is keeping us bound in a loop of just going over and over and over the same problems. And you cannot change your reality by still doing the same things, or still feeling the same way, or still thinking the same way. You can't change your reality like that. You're expecting the outside reality to shift when your inside reality hasn't even taken into account that your heart wants to move forward with some passion, with desire, and following that and trusting that, and not worrying about how the outcome is going to actually happen, because constantly you're going to follow that heart of yours. It's so interesting, because the ones that are doing the shadow work and the mind work are probably going to find everything falling away from them anyway, which is what they were trying to protect in the first place, because it's going to become so engrossed in trying to fix a problem without fixing how they feel about themselves, or taking into acknowledgement how they feel about their life and themselves and what they deserve. So there's a lot that's coming through at the moment about humanity starting to take responsibility or accountability for how they're feeling and how they're moving through their life. Because up till now, we have been moving through our life by only following somebody else's program and telling us how to do it. It's going to be a big shift. When we move like that, we take a lot more leaps of faith. We take a lot more, because we're not fearing ourselves anymore. So this eclipse is going to awaken. I feel this freshness coming, something new. And also they're telling me that spark that comes from the eclipse, if people have done the shadow work, they're probably going to find some gift coming, something tangible coming, to actually motivate them into, yes, you're on the right path. Don't doubt it anymore. You are the one that's controlling this. So they're showing me gifts being handed out to those that are they're saying the meek, the people that have been, going inwards and doing the hermit kind of introspection of themselves. And they're showing me those that have been empathic and been, going under their feelings. we all have the ability to be empathic too. That's interesting to note that they're bringing up now, because I've always seen myself as empathic and other people as not. But they're telling me that everyone has that capacity, because as you raise your level of awareness, more empathy comes in, because you're connected more to your outside world as well as your inner world, which gives you that empathic understanding where you can see through the lies and deceptions and so forth coming your way. We all have that capability, but it's just the limiting program that is dissolving within our minds, only dictating to us how our life's going to be, and never looking at how we really truly feel. So much is coming through, and here I am, like, this is meant to be tarot, right? So let's get into the tarot. Can't help myself when it starts coming through. So interesting. Okay, but we will see the story of the tarot because it's fun, right? And it also has beautiful, pretty pictures, and we can see more, sometimes more specifics too through the tarot, through those images that come up. So they don't mind working through tarot as well, just because it actually gives the viewer something to see tangibly, and that's allowing a logical mind to accept it a little bit more. So let's see what stories come up with the tarot, please. Okay, we've got the Knight of Swords in reverse is the first card. I'm going to pull a couple more. Knight of Swords in reverse. Through the eclipse, please. What is coming up through the eclipse season for us, for the viewers, please? What's happening with the viewers? All that watch this video for the eclipse season, please. Okay, we've got a few that's come up, so I'm going to take those. So we have, okay, so we have the Knight of Swords. Oops, sorry, bumped my computer. We have the Knight of Swords in reverse. He's a fast action person. It's coming in with, like usually they say, oh, this is a man that's coming in, he's just going to come in quickly and leave, that sort of thing. But I'm really finding, because we're talking about the eclipse, this is fast action cutting through the truth. He's holding a sword and he's coming galloping on this white horse, and the white horse represents, especially since I've seen, if you've ever seen my video 444, the experience of me having 4 horses coming through smashing through my window, there's a feeling of the same redemption. I don't know why redemption's coming up, but some sort of cutting through the truth of certain things in your reality that's going to determine you on what choices to make next. No longer seeing the lesser value of yourself against your outside world as more valuable, or other people more valuable than who you are and what you should be. Your reality should be moving through, what you should be creating, or acknowledging even. So that's what I'm feeling with this card, is there's this cutting through the truth. What else have we got? We've got the 7 of Pentacles, and okay, the truth could be that you've been working really hard on something that you want to ground in this world, and you could feel this is going to help others, or this is going to help my life or your life become even more so. So we have these pentacles that this person is now thinking, shall I pick the pentacles now? Is this going to work if I actually like push this out into the real world? And is this going to work? Yeah, this is a real feeling of, is this going to work? But it's with the sword of truth coming out, and understanding you could work and work and work and work and work and work on something. And then it gets to a point where you just got to go, that's it. I've got to take a leap of faith into knowing that my work is valuable enough and will be grounded in this reality. So there's something about that happening with the eclipse as well. There's also the Hierophant, but it's come into reverse. And for some reason, they're showing me this. I don't know what it is. I'm just going to call it a staff. But it's something to do with graduating. It's in reverse. Graduating. Okay. Where before you were fixated on the outside world as the contracts of what that, the laws, the religions, all of those sort of things, as being in your reality. This being in reverse is breaking this up but it's grounding a new truth of what one would perceive as religion is no longer anymore, where the religion comes from within our own sovereignty of knowing our soul. So that's why it was in reverse. We're no longer fixated on outside forces telling us how religion and laws are going to work. We are moving towards doing this within ourselves. And this is a grounded religious card. Like, he's grounded, he's got contracts, he's figured things out for himself that can unify with other people and create certain laws and structures and contracts and religious behaviors and stuff like that. But being in reverse, that's all crumbling. So, but still we need to ground something, right? So through this eclipse, there could be new groundings of understandings of our spiritual self. And because spirituality in the end, that's all in the ether, needs to be grounded in some aspects for us to follow a sort of a regime of material, in the material world, a physical understanding of our spirituality, and how is that going to be grounded, or even going into what is that going to look like? What is it going to actually look like to be grounded? Even just starting to develop the understanding of what that could be perceived as. See, Mother Earth's coming through here. It's interesting where this is going. I've got so many voices in my head. Mother Earth is coming through here, and she's like, see, I ground my spirituality through crystals. I ground everything through the energy of encapsulating it in beauty. Oh, that's so interesting, isn't it? Look at all the beauty that she grounds. And every single one of these represents different energy lines, different portals within her own capacity of energy, so that it can be utilized by others that understand the wisdom of the crystals and so forth. So very interesting. They're now showing me a circle around a city, because this was brought up in my book, Jonah and Kitty, the Timekeeper's Void, that I wrote for children, but they're bringing it up again, where there was massive crystals around this higher dimensional location on Earth that was protected by these crystals, but only to the rich, not protected as in like the logical mind protecting us, but protected as in to pass through that energy barrier, you would have to have a clear mind. Really interesting, like these giant crystals surrounding the outer skirts of a certain location on Earth where the human consciousness could be clear of or void of all distractions and become central to themselves, of clarity of mind, stepping into that which would enhance humanity's capability. They're taking me to Atlantis now in Lemuria. They used to do it in those times. Pleiadian energies coming through. Pleiadian's going to be a big deal with all of this. I'm also going to do a 444 message, I think. I don't even know what day it is, but they want me to do a 444 message on the 4th of the 4th, 2023. 24. Hello, there's 4 fours there, right? If you add the 2 twos together, that's so cool. Okay, so that might be something that I might have to go live with as well on that day. The last card that's coming out is the Star. And the Star was in reverse. So these are the gifts that are wanting to come to you, but it's also to do with the receiver, remember? The receiver receiving these gifts needs to be open to the fact that this can actually be a possibility of the universe wants to gift you something. The universe wants to give you a tangible thing, something that you could use and in your logical mind really snap into. Okay, I really understand now where my place is so that I can carve a new path into something completely different. As your personal individual reality changes from within, so too will your outer world, and that means that is all that is existing from your locality, your place, your personal understanding of yourself and your reality. So when that changes, it changes everything. It's interesting. Okay, I'm going to leave those ones out, and then we will get another pack and see what else comes out about this big question. There's a big movement that's happening with humanity through this eclipse. It's got those that are so-called controlling, or the logical mind, a little bit concerned about how this is all going to play out. Logical mind can't see past this. So that means that those that are in charge, using only logic to try to control you, can't see past this as well. So that's interesting to know. If they can't see past this, it's almost like an explosion of light. They're bringing me to a story that they always make me trip over these really cool stories. And one of the stories was that there was a crash. Something happened where those that are in control come across what they call a black box of reality, and they could see through it and see the bits of future that they could kind of, oh, okay, well, that's coming up for humanity's consciousness. We're going to have to implement some tool so that we can still control that. In other words, telepathy would be coming up. So they implemented telephones so that they still had an outside control. Everything has to be an outside control when it comes to the logical mind, or those that are controlling, right? So they're showing me that, and then they got to a certain point or reference point where they couldn't see past it because all they saw was bright white light. And then they're referencing that bright white light to the eclipse, not with everybody, but with certain people, where that bright white light becomes that's their now own sovereign creation of reality, where they're creating their own reality now, and they're no longer in the program anymore. And so those that are being controlling can't see through that light that those people are holding, because they're creating their own bubble of their own creation and what they're focusing on. Oh my God, this is getting really intense and so cool. Okay, let's get into, these are oracle cards that I haven't got the decks actual thing, but sorry, the box. We've got the personal guide. Oh my gosh, that's my personal number. I'm a 3811 when it comes to numerology. So that's so interesting. Just from my own thing. Guardian angel spirit family. So yeah, there's going to be a lot more awakening to the fact that they are going to be personal guides for others. So up till now, those that are really in tune with their soul have had their own personal guides as their soul's information, which is connected to many benevolent beings and being able to channel and all that sort of stuff. And then they awaken and they become personal guides for others. So we become the personal guides, not by, my guides never came down the well and fixed my problems. They shone a light above the well to get my attention so that I would look up and find my own problems and solutions to my own problems. That's how they worked with me. So we, as personal guides for others, sorry, my nose is really itchy now. Sometimes channeling does that to me. Those are personal guides for others, won't be going in and like fixing other people's problems. No, they become the light where they shine their own creation or their own reality that they've created for others to be witness to, and understand that there's more out there that they could move with, like join in with or come part of. That got kind of like, well, I'm creating my own path, right? So what if I want to create my own path and I see someone over there that's creating some beautiful holiday and an existence where it's abundant and they're no longer worried and their mind is really excited and happy and at peace with themselves, then they would you as a person would go, well, I would rather follow that than follow the AI is going to take over, or there's going to be an apocalypse or something like that. So I don't want to follow that. So I'd rather, until I've gained my own capability to create my own reality, I will join this person. And maybe even when they do create their own reality, it becomes entangled with that scenario that this other guide has already started off with. And so they end up merging and creating a bigger scenario, right? But they each have pieces of the puzzle because each of us is different. So yeah, so interesting just what's coming through at the moment. That was followed with connections, see? And I really feel like I literally just read that connections card out with the personal guide. So we partnerships, contracts, commitments, new partnerships coming through without the fear-based scenario. Through this eclipse, if you have a fear of connecting with another person because you don't trust anymore, there's part of yourself that you're not trusting. See what part of that self you're not trusting through this eclipse. Use the eclipse to go inwards to figure out what part of myself am I not trusting that makes me feel vulnerable, that I can't stand up for myself when other people come in to connect with me, or I choose those who I want to connect with. There could be connections where it's only a little connection. There could be connections where it's a much broader, bigger connection, lifelong connections. There could be just connections just for the moment or just for a certain subject. But at least you've got your understanding of, with you creating your reality, where those pieces of the puzzle of other people fit within your reality and capacity to move forward as well. Also, they're bringing up with me connections to the Pleiadians. For some reason, the Pleiadians in 444 is that 444 number, and the 4th of April 2024 is coming up a big time at the moment. So that means that something to do with the awakening of those connected to the Pleiadians is going to explore more of their gifts coming through, which is that star card in reverse. Remember, you're the receiver, so allow these gifts to come through. It could be the ability to gain more messages or whatever. It doesn't matter. There's so many vast gifts that are going out there for other people to tap into. I'm going to see what these cards say as well. Hey, Debbie and Yannicka, good to see you in the chat bar as well. I'm also thinking too, before I went on live today, of doing an open kind of chat, personal chat with a chat bar, and maybe sitting here for a couple of hours and just discussing. I might get somebody else online with me or something so that we can have full-on discussions about this, because this is a real transitional moment in time for those. There's been transitions all along, we all know that, but for those that are starting to ground the gifts and ground more of a new reality coming through. So I might even do like quite a long, fun, yeah, Yannicka, that would be fun, wouldn't it? So look out for that. I will advertise it first, I think. For some reason, Saturday keeps coming up in my mind, but we will see. I don't even know what date Saturday is. That doesn't matter. So yes, that might be a good thing in lieu or moving towards the 444 number, because there's going to be quite a lot of transitions within our own self. We feel like we're coming out of the void, and we're starting to realize we're no longer waiting for the perpetrators or the controllers to tell us what the next move is by shoving something horrible down our reality, fear-based reality. Instead, we have to make the next move. And that came up in that last channeling as well. It was a very grounded channeling This today feels very, I would have thought it'd be the other way around, being tarot, but it's interesting. It is the alignment with the energies, so got to go with it, don't you? Let's see what these cards produce too. Hey Sky, good to see you. Go back to the beginning of this one. There's so many cool messages that have come through when you can. Also, I am up to I nearly finished my second course. I'm going to put out a new course, and it's like a school really, and it's like my Pleiadians, the Acrturians, they're all part of it. The CYANIANS, they're all part of it. We're teaching you how they taught me to still the mind and become telepathic channelers yourself, like more connection to your outside world. So if you're up for that, there's going to be some courses. I'm going to put them out in the next month or so. Anyway, let's see what happens with this next oracle card. Eclipse season, please. What's the messages for this eclipse season in April? The eclipse is happening on April the 8th, by the way, for any of those that don't know. It's depending on your location, whether it's a partial eclipse or not, but they're telling me it won't make much difference to the actual energy, and they're saying the energy has already started, and it's because it's quite a powerful eclipse for humanity as the receiver, understanding that they're open to more now. So it's already starting, the energy starting from here on through the eclipse to the other side, another couple of weeks on the other side of it. Okay, what messages for this eclipse time, please? Messages for the eclipse, please. Okay, we've got a couple of files there. So we have the empathic starseed. Energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours as well. So, but instead of seeing absorbing what's not yours, I'm feeling this more into empathic. Use your empathic abilities to feel into the eclipse and the energy and the wisdom that's going to come through with that spark. Use the spark. Use the spark as a new birth of earth. See, as the receiver now, even though there's been eclipses that's happened in the past, but if you say, oh my gosh, now I understand what an eclipse can bring, and you use that spark, just like the spark of consciousness that happens when a sperm hits an egg, a light flies out of it, just exactly the same. And the same with these sonoluminescent bubbles that are burst through vibration in water, bursts of light, and no one can understand it in the science world how it actually happens, because it goes beyond their capability to learn, because they're coming from a logical space and not allowing that intuitive, heartfelt, knowing soul understanding, which is the empathic. If you become more and more and more empathic through releasing all the shadow work, you can start to become more connected to wisdom that comes from things like the outer world showing up as, yes, this is the right time for a new beginning, and a spark of consciousness coming from that eclipse, that sun coming out, and like in that spark. They're also showing me sunsets, sunrises. It's always prevalent, because that's why you have a feel-good feeling when there's a sunrise or a sunset. You go more into the peace of yourself, because the horizon of Earth in that moment is allowing more of the sun's rays, which is just source energy, love itself, coming through the sun, even though it's, you know, a material thing in the logic. We're talking soul wise here, energy here. That ray comes across in a lot thicker, broader expansion across the earth and the landscape. And so when it hits you, you can then feel into that piece of love, that soul connection with yourself a lot more. So you become more calmer. Yeah, so that as well. So yeah, tap in to what's happening. We also got lifting the veil, questioning anything, everything, anything unaligned must go. So this is exactly what I was talking about with those that are doing the shadow work and using this eclipse to really look into themselves of where are they aligned with their mind that just going around in circles and playing the same outcome, and they're so too, you know, stubborn, not going into their heart base and feeling into their feelings of what they really truly deserve and want in their reality. They're too much thickened in their mind of it. Things have to go, will go a certain way for them because it did in the past. Well, that's not helping anymore, is it? So lifting the veil, questioning and everything, anything aligned, unaligned must go. So that, and then we have this star bathing, light body, crystal grid, transmission, activation. Oh my gosh, it literally goes with what came out with the tarot, right? With the star card. So that one was the next card, star bathing. But instead of this, I'm seeing star bathing. See, the sun is a star. Maybe it's a good idea during this eclipse to just go out into nature and lie on the ground and sunbathe, right? Sunbathing, crystal grid, and they even bringing up crystal gridding, which is what I brought up through Mother Earth before. Transmission, activation. There's a lot of activation happening within those that have the capacity to be able to feel with through their soul's wisdom. This spark will ignite them. They are the receivers and they are ready. So that's what I'm getting, the message at the moment with this eclipse. Those that are ready will be receiving great wisdom, great understanding, capacity to move forward in a different manner, new births, new beginnings, something new coming in for them. So cool. Let's see what else comes up. Let me get these big ones. Sky, everyone around me has been feeling tired, including me. Could be the solar eclipse energy. Actually, the tiredness actually comes from still being in the mind. The mind, it will make you tired. It will constantly keep on trying to fix things through an outside, looking outside itself for something to be fixed. Instead of trusting that when you go through, when you come from your intuition and your soul, it's light. It doesn't feel tiresome. It feels peaceful. You're in acceptance mode. You just accept your life as it goes along. You're no longer fighting it. The mind will fight the outside world to try to protect and overexert itself, that sort of thing. So if you're tired, you're still in the mind a bit too much. So that's just giving you an indication of the barometer of you've still got some work to do, because when you are if you were completely in the higher dimension now, in that fifth dimension where you feel really good about yourself in that higher aspect, you will feel light. You will feel, well, my mind is at peace. Like when they took me to the new earths, when I woke up in this potential that humanity could move into, my mind was so still that there was no tiredness. There was just this peace. It was so enlightening. That's why they call it enlightening. So just be aware, and the mind can come in a subtle way where you don't quite realize that you are tired through trying to fix something. Yeah. And a lot of us light workers are feeling tired because we've had enough of that. We've had enough of it, and we know that there's something better, but we haven't quite stepped into it yet. And so this eclipse can help that energy if you're willing to receive. And they're telling me the wisdom might not come in as a logical wisdom. The wisdom might come in as a release. The wisdom might come in as an acceptance of one's reality. It might come in as something that's not what tangible, written, understanding. It's more of an inner understanding of who thyself is in the whole. Okay. Eclipse season, please. Any messages for the eclipse season? So these are two decks that I put together because they're the same artist, same energy. Understood. Let's go. I would love you to join me on, if I do it, like a couple of hours chat, either in the chat bar or even, I don't think you're willing to do a live with me, but you have an awesome energy about you. So does everybody else. I don't mean to single one person out. Just known Sky for a very, very, very long time. We've done a fair whack of work together. Let's sadness of looking back. Okay, interesting. Energies for the eclipse. Anything more, please? Funny. Literally, the cards are talking to me. Like a big clump went past, and they said, "Go back, go back." Oh, I'm getting a whole, like they keep wanting to get something else more out. We've got heaps already. Okay, I'm going to take this card for some reason. So we have the unending sadness of looking back, endless regret, obsessive grief, replaying the past, negative nostalgia is coming up. And I really feel this, like when I first said about the shadow work that's happening for those that are doing the shadow work. Unending sadness, endless regret, obsessive grief. So when we let go of the mind, we literally need to let go of a story that we think that we are in control of. And when we start to go into ourselves and realize we don't have that control, we never did. It never worked out for us anyway. We actually tried to listen to our mind taking over and telling us how it should be, and those outside of us and how it should be. And we ended up in misery. We ended up in all of that. So this feeling of that being brought up through this eclipse, especially for those that are doing the shadow work. We have a lot that's come out here at the moment. So we have Miss Spiderweb, reconsider your alliances, make new connections. So the connection card came out, remember, before? Connections. So cool how this is happening. Shadow work, connections, right? Love how they all align with the ones that I've already picked in another deck. It's just similar messages. So here we are with reconsider your alliances. Just feel into what feels right for you, and also remember that you can adjust yourself with everybody, that somebody might have a piece of the puzzle in one thing, but not in every aspect. In other words, you know how we bring in people and we go, you're going to be my best friend, but they don't fulfill you in every aspect. So there could be a friend that is for this part of your life, and then another friend that fulfills you in another, and the unity starts to form of a group where the pieces of the puzzle are fitting in together, rather than you're my best friend and that means I can't be bothered with anybody else, and so you have to fulfill me for everything. And they can't, because we're not meant to be fulfilling for everything across the board. I'm not saying that you don't have a partner that lives with you for the rest of your life, but they might have only a specific point of reference that they're there for, as in support and the living arrangements and so forth. But then when you come from a spiritual side, you might have girlfriends that actually help you with that. So just readjust. There's a readjustment through this eclipse of all of that that's coming in. Deep, dark sea mermaid, find solutions in unknown places and in the darkness. Very much a shadow card here as well. So there's going to be that darkness that happens before the eclipse takes off. Really, all of those things that the mind game starts to play out, look into them to see which ones to release. Look deeper into those places to see, oh my gosh, I didn't see that. I thought that was my soul speaking, but actually it was my mind holding on to a story that's limited me all this time. There's some sort of awareness that can be brought up or brought into your reality from this eclipse as well. You are rare and free. There are not many like you. And so your individualness is starting to shine, your uniqueness. You are the creator. You are the one that can morph into what you accept in your life and what you dismiss. And they're saying dismiss because they don't want you to put any attention onto those things that are feeling that they're not aligned with you anymore. Really start to focus in on what you want to create, what you want to align yourself with in every moment. Belong to your own dream, create your own life. See, that's interesting how they've shifted from the shadow of the eclipse and now the spark of creating your own reality. Belong to your own dream, create your own life. Couldn't have had a better card come out for this, right? How amazing is that? So here we have the whole transition of the eclipse coming out, which I was talking about at the beginning with that channel message before I even pulled the cards. So I love how the cards are working with me on this. One could say I'm creating my own reality, right? But that's when you start to see the synchronicities outside yourself coming in, then you know you're on the right path, right? And if it's moving towards something that makes you happy, then it's fantastical, isn't it? Now, there's another card that came out that wanted to come out of that pack that I just pulled out, and I thought it was necessary, and that is raised by wolves. You belong. You belong here. You are supposed to be here with all your uniqueness. You are supposed to be you, and no matter how different it looks to the outside world or those that are around you or whatever, this is a time for you to be you, no matter what. She was raised by the wolves, right? She is who she is. Her energy alignment allowed her to be raised by another animal, the wolves. She was that much entwined with the wolves. She was probably a wolf in her past life and that sort of thing. So if you look into who you are, like for myself, I'm constantly looking at the stars. I've always been like that. I was the weirdo that bought the astronomy books. I was the one that saw spirits. I was the one that brought them up. I was the one that was receiving messages even when I was young and freaking my friends out at parties. I left. Like literally my sister got angry with me because I could feel into these different spirits and they were all getting freaked out. Anyway, so hello. We know who we are authentically. You belong on earth. I belong on earth. Yes, I've come from Pleiades. Yes, I've come from another dimension. My soul's come straight from that dimension. I know that 100%, but I belong here in this body now, being me, doing what I do, going on, live, being a channeler, sending messages out to the world, to whoever wants to hear. And it doesn't matter if it's small or big, because it will change anyway as I start to like use this eclipse to become just me. And same with you. Who are you? How do you really feel about yourself without the program telling you who you are? How do you really feel about yourself? It's so important at the moment. Wow, 53 minutes. That's a lot of information coming through there. Yes. So yeah, if someone is online and they want to do like even come in on a meeting, then I might set up a Zoom or something. I'll see how I can figure that out. If I set up a Zoom, I want to also see the chat bar. So I've got to figure that out because last time I did a Zoom, I couldn't see the chat bar. So much to learn. Logically. And yeah, if anyone wants to join me either in the chat bar or whether they want to join me live and have something to share or whatever, or come in for a wee while and then leave, something like that, I'm willing. See where this can all go, because I think that it would be nice to have a collective group, like questions asked, or experiences that you've gone through or something like that, where we're using this eclipse moment to unite or come together, even if it's just me and the chat bar. Doesn't matter. We'll just see how this all plays out. But I'm thinking I could do something like that for you guys, because I really feel at the moment to keep in contact with you, because of such a interesting transition that's happening. It's so interesting. Fun, Jenny. Yeah, a live Zoom. And then, yeah, I think that would be a good idea. And like, I'll get my cup of tea and stuff beforehand, and maybe a snack or something. I don't know, just stay live for a wee while and see what happens. Yeah, because I can always do everything. I can channel, I can pull some cards, I can pull some crystals, I can do the pendulum. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, my yes, no coin. Hello. We could talk about all sorts of things, but I want it to be around the eclipse and creating a new world, creating something new. What can we focus on with creating? What do we really want in this new world? Maybe that should be the title of this chat, is let's bring up everything we want to create in this world. What a beautiful thing to do. Just get focused in on what do we want to see in our world, in our reality. Yeah, that would be fun. Totally excited, Jenny. Yay. Okay. So don't forget, I am an intuitive counseling reader. So if you are interested, my links are down below. So that's on my website, codestoanewreality.com. I am starting up a school, or whatever you want to call it, courses to help many people still their mind and move into being able to channel or be telepathic, and there's a whole heap of information on that about telepathy and channeling, which is similar. Anyway, you'll have to read what I write down on these lessons. There's a whole heap of information coming through for that. I'm also, through those lessons, I channel the Pleiadians, the CYANIANS, the Acrturians, are the main ones that have come through for the lessons. And there's exercises and everything as well to do, so that you can keep in check with yourself. And I'm going to put them out for mainstream for everybody. I'm hoping that in the future that they will be taken by those that are still moving up from doing the shadow work and living in their mind, and and moving into, because this is going to be a transition that happens where there's pockets of us, and then more and more, and then more and more starting to awaken. Okay, so I think I will leave it there. Love you guys heaps. That will be fun. I'll see what I can do, maybe this Saturday, but I'll definitely let you know in the community So if you haven't subscribed to me, subscribe if you want to get the community notices to be part of that. Love you guys. Bye.